Hello, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. Colonel is here. Jack, good morning or good evening to you. You're in UK, I believe. He says, hello, Mehran. And we have Chester from Mail 27, Hawaii. Oh, my goodness, Chester. Aloha, Mehran, he says. Aloha, Chester. Mahalo. And Hawaii. What a beautiful energy. It's just the fact that I'm connected to Hawaii. Mariana says, hello, Mehran, female 28, Mexico, ¿cómo está? And Sid Parker says, could you please talk about scrupulosity? All right, we'll have that on the agenda. Do we have here? Mariana says, I'm working right now. I'll watch the video later. I got the notification and just wanted to say hello and leave my like. And thank you very much, Mariana. Very thoughtful of you. I appreciate that. So Aman is here. Let me just go through the names. Aman is here. Luna here. Salam, Luna. Aman, hello, dear. And Juanpa says, male 25, Costa Rica, pura vida to you as well. And Juanpa says, today is my birthday. Happy birthday, Juanpa, dear. I'm sure everybody wishes you a happy birthday and hope that today would be the first day of the beginning of the rest of your life. And I know it is. So, best foot forward. Luna says, female 36 UK, thank you for that. And Veronica says, hello, Mehran. Just wanted to let you know that you helped me a lot with your videos. May God bless you, and thank you so much. I appreciate the feedback. It makes it all worthwhile when I hear from you guys that the videos have been helpful. And Aman says, overthinking in HOCD that I might not get attracted to girls. Well, no, these are all just thoughts. We'll talk about that later. And lovely Lily is here, 29, female Pakistan, says, hello, dear Mehran. Good to see you live here. Yes, I also like to see myself alive. Because that's the only way I can see myself. The other, if it's not alive, you guys may get to see, but not me. So... And Gaurav says, hello, Mehran. Oh, my goodness. It's been a while you've been here, haven't you? Male 28 Canada says, Ottawa. Says, why do I still try to look for positive things in my ex even after she broke up from me? Well, ask yourself, why? The thing is, the problem is that we somehow, when things appear in our head, whether it's a memory or intrusive thoughts or whatever it is that shows up, you kind of think that it's a legitimate question and you try to answer it in the way that it's negative. Like you say, why do I still think about the ex even though she broke up with me? And turn that question around and ask yourself, why? Why should you? Not why I do it. Why should I? That will take care of the big part of the question and change your mindset towards these sort of questions and concerns. And Roller Girl says, you haven't been here for a while. This is 55 Vegas. And good to see you as well, Roller Girl, and thank you for the hearts. And Dilugani says, Salam Mehran. Hubi, that's supposed to have an 8K at the beginning to make it Hubi. And thank you very much. I appreciate that. 23 May, London. So, now that we have said hello to everyone, and Carpe Diem is here, my goodness. We have a super chat from generous Carpe Diem, as usual. And thank you very much for that. You always support this channel. And he says, please support the channel. Mehran, how can a person deal with intrusive thoughts that only think of worst case scenarios? I know in the past they served a purpose, but now they just cause more anxiety. Yes, well, if it wasn't negative, it wouldn't be intrusive thought. If it wasn't against your nature, it wouldn't be intrusive thoughts. The fact that you get uncomfortable and you don't approve of it and it's unwanted and uninvited, it tells you that has nothing to do with your preferences, cannot explain or describe or represent you, whatever it is, whether in however the topic may be, because it is irrelevant what the topic is. The fact of recognizing that a thought is intrusive that's all there is, the importance of it. So your question should be, these thoughts, whatever it is irrelevant, so it should not deserve my attention. Not that, what does it mean? Why is it here? And all that data hunting opens a new can of worm for you to follow a rabbit hole and get stuck with the whole negativity of the energy and waste of investment of time regarding that thought that showed up. You need to shut it down as soon as you recognize it, that it is an intrusive thought, meaning totally close the door on it having any kind of a chance to feel it's alive, that is being taken seriously, that is being taken, given attention to. Because when you don't give energy to anything, it can't even pretend that it is alive. It doesn't even feel that it's alive. It doesn't become a topic. But when you actually focus on it, then it feels that it has a presence, and then it starts affecting the meaning of the thought, the words, the images, and all that becomes an issue for you to deal with. But when you simply don't open the book, you just look at the book, says, that's an obscene book. That's an intrusive book. That's a book I'm not interested. Therefore, I'm not going to open it up and then debate every word and verse that is in there and argue with it. I argue the whole validity of the book. I throw that out. So in other words, intrusive thought shows up. Your expertise should extend to recognizing what is intrusive thought. And that is an automatic recognition. You don't have to make an effort, because it creates an imbalance in your homeostasis, so to speak. In other words, you feel discomfort. You feel this is creating waves in the tranquility and balance of your life and your mental state, your belief, your value system, and everything that is meaningful to you. The fact that it has created that wave, that already creates an awareness that this is intrusive. Once that intrusiveness of it is established, then you disregard it. You do not go after it. Why it's there? Why am I thinking this way? What does it mean as far as I'm concerned? Does it represent something? Does it mean anything? Is it a message? Does it have a mandate? None of that. Because then you're giving it life to something that has no existence and has no actuality, has no merits, has no credibility. You're giving it because you are credible. When you start reading a book, that book or that sentence becomes credible, because not because what it says is credible, it becomes a topic of attention because you are a credible person and you know yourself as being credible, and you're paying attention to something, so that something rides on your coattail and becomes somewhat of a thing that deserves an attention because you're giving it an attention. But if you diss it and disregard it as soon as you see it as an enemy, as an unfriendly, then you will simply not open the door. Let's say you're in a fort, I don't know, a few hundred years ago, and you are defending the fort in the middle of somewhere, the Old West, let's say, and you see intrusions of the soldiers of the enemy, you can see your lookout scouts on the towers of the fort can see from the distance. As soon as you see, you close the doors. All the gates are closed. That's the end of it. Not that you let them come in and ask them, where you're coming from, where would you like to go, what would you like to, what are you here, what are these guns and ammunitions with you, what are you doing? No, you just simply close the door because you recognize that that is in out of its place. That thingy that showed up, it's not part of me. It's an intrusion. So what do? If you feel there is a thief coming to your home, what do? You open the door, come in, sir. Would you like to have some tea? What are you here for? What are you doing here? What are these knives and things? And what do you have a mask? All this, of course, it's not a pandemic time, but the mask would not be tolerated in regular time. Now we can't tell who's a thief, who's not. So you don't. As soon as you know there is an intruder possibility, you close all doors, and the alarm system comes on. So that's the whole process of it for you. Instead of getting into the vortex of the intrusive thought, that is in its intention to become alive, fictitiously, but become alive, pretend that it's alive by getting your attention. Don't give that attention to it and say, I don't care why it's here. I'm not even going to data hunt it. I'm not going to give it the respect of considering it. Otherwise, there'll be so many different intrusive thoughts during the day that shows up that if you want to counter every one of them, it's just waste of your energy and time. And the reason that intrusive thoughts, when it shows up, you, first of all, you just shouldn't entertain it at all, as we just talked about. But the reason that you get it and the negative thought grabs onto it and goes to the extreme negative, because that is its job, to bring about the most severe dangers, so you can be definitely equipped to know the essence of it and make sure that it won't have the chance to create that dangerous situation for you. So it takes you to the extreme end of it. So it makes you aware of the possibility of the extent of its danger. And that's what its job is. In fact, brain is trying to protect you, but it does it in such a way that it's so intrusive and it's never ending because there's so many tangents. So the best thing to do is just become expert to recognize what's intrusive. And that's the end of dealing with it, because as soon as you recognize it's intrusive, you diss it, you disregard it, and you turn your head away, and you consider it not worthy of your pondering on it. That's what it wants. It wants you to ponder on it, because it wants you to trick you to say that I'm important. I'm more important than you are, because you got to be concerned about me. But you want to tell it that you're a tool, you're an equipment of mine, and if you're not producing something that is pleasant to me, and it's in line with my values, I'm not going to pay attention to you, because I'm the boss, not you. So what you present, it has to be worthy of this court, otherwise it's thrown out. So then that behavior reconditions and rewires your brain, and the brain eventually, because of continuous treatment, the way you treat these intrusive thoughts, it learns that it's not a place that it could get attention. So it starts showing less and less and less, because it seems like it doesn't make you react to it in such a way that it makes it feel like, oh, I'm something, I'm alive. But your reaction, your behavior proves to it that you're not wanted here and you're not entertained here. So your behavior starts rejuvenating the proper function of caudate nucleus. Caudate nucleus is that piece of the part of the automatic gear shift in the midbrain that is responsible to shut down the intrusive thoughts automatically. But when there is a malfunction in the signaling system, that when these intrusive thoughts show up from any other parts of the brain, prefrontal cortex process something, amygdala tries to respond back, caudate nucleus, knowing what your values are, automatically shuts down the intrusive thoughts as soon as you recognize it's an intrusive. Couple of seconds, you say, oh, what is that? And then you go on about your business and it disappears. But when there's a malfunction in this connection and this rapport, the caudate nucleus doesn't get a chance to shut it down. So your behavior, by recognizing that this is an intrusive thoughts and dissing it and not paying attention to it, it reactivates, rewires the brain to understand these activities are not appreciated here. And after a while, caudate nucleus gets on to the fact and starts again working as it always did beforehand. We have, and the Lugani says, okay, yeah, we did that. So let's see what we have before the super chat. What do we lined up here? So Sidesh says, could you please talk about scrupulosity? Well, you know what that is, of course. It's something that people think that's something that they've done or they thought is a sin religiously, and they're wondering if there would be a punishment or if it affects their relationship with their belief or their God, and they're overly concerned about something that they thought that might be not in accordance to their religion rules or guidances, and it could be in violation of a normal doctrine of that religion. But I don't know how open you are about religion itself. And I don't think we need to go and discuss the religion itself, but we just discuss this as an OCD should be discussed, because it's a subset of OCD. It doesn't matter if you wash your hands 100 times for no reason, or you turn the switch off and on 50 times because you think if you don't, something bad will happen to your loved ones, or it's the stove that you check 100 times before you leave your apartment, or you lock your apartment several times and you say, oh no, maybe I didn't lock it properly. You come back and check. All of that is because of the lack of ability to live with uncertainty. You know, we are creatures from a million years ago, when we had pretty much no ability to think or speak. We were living instinctively. And that instinct was developed due to the conditionings that we were experiencing. And the conditions that we were experiencing a million years ago was all danger. Environmental danger, ferocious animals danger, something wanted to kill us or eat us. A sound comes and we turned around the jungles or wherever we were, because it was all about survival. There was the question of security is the first and foremost concern of every living being. Am I safe? And that has never left us, that sense of protection and sense of alarm and need to know that what's about to attack me, it's still there. So the sense of danger since a million years ago have been engraved in our genes in order to protect us, because that's how it was. That's why we have a problem to deal with uncertainties. We want to make sure everything is certain. And most people are okay with it, But there are, of course, millions and millions of people who deal, if not 94% of people in the world deal with OCD of one kind or another. But they are concerned about this element of security, and they want to turn that around and make sure that there is a certainty rather than uncertainty. We don't like to be uncertain. And because of all those dangers that we experienced, so we want to make sure that everything is certain. So whatever the subset of the OCD is, that's pretty much explains the roots of it. In the case of scrupulosity, again, you have created a condition, a belief through that religion that you're going to be achieving safety and psychological security if you believe in this religion and continue following its teachings, its rules, and observing and not violating what is considered its doctrine. And through that, you've been promised to receive certainty. So you've created a condition, an absolute, in an uncertain world. The whole thing about this world is uncertain, and you have created this pocket of belief that if I adhere to these certain rules, all these conditions that are uncertain will change for me, and I will be certain. I will be going to heaven, I will have this and that, what I want, God will love me. So your concern is now that what I did may have changed that. Now, should you go and examine that belief to begin with, that you have hung all these things that you consider sin to affect what you want to achieve through that religion? Or should we just simply focus on the fact that the uncertainty of how things will be in life is your question? Like you wash your hands 5 million times. Why? Because you think, maybe I didn't wash it good. I want to be sure. And OCD is a doubting disease. No matter what you do, you think you still need assurances in every part of it. So even if you don't do any sins according to your religion, you still want to be sure that you didn't do any sins, even though you didn't. Now, what is sin, what is not, that's not what we're going to be talking about today. But the fact that you think you have to be sure that you complied with the rules is the problem. All you have to think about is just, look, I do what I can. And whether it's going to have a repercussion or not, I'll know if there would be. I don't have to know for sure if there would be or not. I'm okay by not knowing. Practice being okay by not knowing. You know? Look, you do that every day. Yet when it comes to religion or to any intrusive thoughts, you suddenly need assurances. But for everyday thing that you're doing 100 times of it, maybe in a month or much more, on many different things in life, you're okay with not knowing. And you say, what do you mean, Mehran? Well, don't you take a bus? How about a taxi? Do you not drive? How do you know that you're not going to get in an accident and die? You don't, do you? But you're okay with it, not knowing. You just say, I'll do my best, and I'm okay with it. I don't know if I'm going to get in an accident or not, but I'm going to drive the car. I don't know if this bus is going to, I don't know if somebody is going to stab me or not. I don't know if this food that I'm going to eat is going to be okay or I'm going to sick. But you do your best as far as the things that are concerned, to do your best to buy that food, to drive that car, to go here, to go there, to avoid weird, wrong situations. So you do your best, but you still are okay with not knowing, because there's so many unknown elements in what you do in your daily life. But you're okay with every one of them. But when it comes an idea that you can't even put your hand on it, where is it coming, what it is, something says you got to be sure of this one. Why? What's the difference? I don't know if I'm going to be dead or not next minute, but I'm doing what I'm doing. I don't know if I'm going to have this much money at the end of the month or not, but I do what I got to do. I don't know anything. Most things are uncertain in life, and we're okay with it. Only when we think about some aspect of it in the form of OCD, I have to know this one. Why? Why? You have your tea in front of you, you're healthy, it's a sunny day, it's nice, nothing is happening around. You're safe, but you say, no, I'm not safe unless I'm sure of this particular thing that I did wasn't a sin. Right this moment, you're okay. But you want to be assured of something that might somehow, possibly, in some certain way and doctrine, may or may not have a repercussion. And what would that be? God knows. Look, if you actually die and go to heaven, well, that's great, right? Then you will deal with whatever it is, because right now you don't even know if there's a heaven or hell or anything. So if you're not sure about it now and you think you did a sin, well, wait, if you go to heaven and then you will see what the punishment is. But that time is not here now. So why do you travel in time to be worried about something that is not here yet? It'll be maybe God knows when, if at all. And you start worrying about it now when you cannot make any difference in that time and space anyhow. So if something is not existing in the moment that you're living, why should you spend your energy and focus on something that is not in existence instead of focusing on the moment that you are in existence and everything is fine? So what I'm trying to say is you focus on being okay for not knowing, because you've been okay with that all through your life. All through your life, as a child to now, everything that you went through was unknown and you were not sure about it. But you did go through it and it was all fine. So what's changed now? Whatever you believed is still, that belief exists. Whatever it was when you were born until now, the whole universe is still functioning the same principles. So if there was something that you believe now, it was still there when you were born and you were doing whatever you were doing and you're still alive and fine. And on the same premise, you will continue. I'm sure you did some things that was against your religion when you were a kid, but you're still okay. Nothing has happened to you so far, right? So what are you worried all of a sudden now? Oh, I'm older now, so I should be worried. Why? You've been okay all through your life since childhood with all the things that were unknown to you, even your little kid and not abilities to take care of yourself. And you were fine with not knowing how things would turn out. No assurances. Uncertainty was okay. You handled it perfectly. So what's changed? So you can handle it again all through time, whether it was a hoax or not hoax, whether it was real or not real. It's been okay since your childhood to now. And it will be the same from now until whenever. So I don't think you should really focus on if it's a sin or not, because you're not alone. Everybody else in this world should worry about it too. Well, what are they worried about? Just there's so many other things that is worse and more immediate and you're not worried about it and they're uncertain. And be okay with this uncertainty as well. Don't try to make sure about things. Just try to learn how to be okay with uncertainty. Because the whole life is uncertain. We live in an uncertainty. We're experts in living in uncertainty. Experts. I don't know if I'm going to have money. I don't know if I'm going to pass my exam. I don't know if I'm going to die if I drive. I don't know if I'm going to get in an accident. I don't know if somebody's going to beat me up in the street. I don't know if somebody's going to attack me. I don't know if a loved one of mine will something happen to them. I don't know if it's all in here. There's none of them has any substance or truth to it until something does happen. So I swim in the ocean when there are sharks 200 yards away, and you don't care about that immediate danger, but you care about if I have sinned and someday some God is going to actually, take my eye out, or whatever it's going to be the punishment. I don't know. Can you see? It's just a mental thing. It's not a real fear that you're scared of or you're considered. It's just a mental thing, because when you're busy, when your mind is occupied in doing something, you don't care about the possibility of uncertainty or danger. Like your mind is occupied having you swim in the ocean, you don't care about 200 yards away there are sharks there. That's uncertain as it can get. But you're okay because you created a condition. No, that's going to be okay. That's all. A thought you created as confidently, that's going to be okay. I'm okay. I'm going to swim. It's fun. And you focus on your swimming. Your mind has occupation, finds its security in the occupation, which is occupation brings focus and brings routine and brings order. And in that order, your mind finds security. So it's busy and it's happy and it's found balance. So it doesn't care about dangers that are out there all the time. It just does its best. Yeah? That's as bad as it can get. But suddenly you're worried about, did I look up, something that I shouldn't have looked up? That's a sin. All right. So understand that we are expert in living in an uncertain world and everything else about it. We are expert to handle that. So if it comes to your mind that you need assurance, you say, no, I don't. I don't need assurance, because you know what? I'm an expert for living in uncertainty, because this whole world is uncertain. I don't know even an hour from now it's going to be tsunami or wind or what. I don't know. How do I know? Nobody told me. That deity that I believe in hasn't come and told me you'll be okay for today, there will be no tsunami. I don't know, but I'm okay with it. So the same way, be okay with uncertainty about other things as well. All right. Let's see what we have here. Carpe Diem says, Mehran, would I be able to get a copy of your books on Amazon Kindle? I have a hard copy, but would love a digital copy I could take with me. How would I go about that? Well, you don't have to go to Amazon. Amazon prices that I've put in there is far bigger than the prices on my site. If you go on my site, you will have, with the order of any book, you will have 3 versions of it. You will have PDF file, you will have EPUB, and Mobi. So I think that would do the job. And like my psyche and I believe it's something like $7 or $8 ebook on my site, but it's like $28 or $32 or $24 or $21 on Amazon. So you can go on my site and get 3 versions of it, and if nothing, the PDF file would work out fine. That's what I've been told, because we have 3 versions. Every book comes in 3 versions when they're purchased, an e-version of it. All right, let me go back to where we were. Aman says, 19, male, India. Recently I talked with a... Oh, let me just have some tea. Let me share with you guys this interesting thing I tried with tea. You know, I like green tea these days. And I just dropped a couple of pieces of mango, dried mango, in my green tea. I don't know about you guys, but not too much. It will be too sweet. Just this much. like maybe 2, 3 strips or one bigger portion, the dried one, thin. It's to me, it's quite interesting. I don't know if you guys will like it or not, but hey, if anybody makes that, puts in the market, that's mine. All right. So Aman says, in 19 male India, recently I talked with a girl because she was interested in talking with me. But I get disinterested and I felt terrible. How to get over this thing which is happening due to HOCD? That's what you got to do. You got to push through. Look, intrusive thoughts are all over us in this world of all different topics. It could be this, it could be that, all kinds of things. All nonsense and all, intrusive of different kinds. Obscene thoughts. So what you need to do is to simply understand that you are who you have always been, and you always will be what you've always been and what you are and what you love to be. That is your choice. Nothing can change that. If you cannot understand the rule of biology, that you cannot change your gender by thoughts showing up in your brain, that if you've been born as a heterosexual or homosexual or whatever you've been born as, that is how you will be rest of your life, because that has to do with chromosomes and the design of the gene and your gender. Thought wasn't present when you were being made and created in your mother's womb. It was never involved. Thought had nothing to do with it. Thought itself came to be a function of yours, a feature of you after you were born. It was never involved in giving you in creation, in the time of creation of your kidneys or liver or your heart or your gender, genitalia, none of that. So it can never be involved or have anything to do with threatening it or trying to modify it in any way, shape, or form at any time in your life either. These are just thoughts, intrusive thoughts based on a malfunction in signaling system that happens, that it doesn't shut off the intrusive thoughts automatically a couple of seconds after they show up, because they show up in everybody's brain. Intrusive thought is something that is not just special to you or people who are suffering or dealing with HOCD or this OCD or that subset of OCD. It is in everyone. Every single human being on earth has intrusive thoughts. The fact that the automatic system works properly, that shuts it off as it always does or not, that's the glitch. That's why you notice this more than a couple of seconds, the intrusive thoughts of any kind. So what you need to do is to understand this and say, I only think of what I am, not about what intrusive thought suggests. And you remind yourself that I have a choice, and my choice is to be how I have always been, as I have been born, and I love to be. So I don't care what intrusive thought shows up, suggests, or images or thoughts shows up. I have a choice. I decide that I am what I've always been. I am what I love to be. I'm a heterosexual, and I'm going to defend that, and I'm going to stay on that. That's my choice. That's my preference. I don't care what thought shows up. That's your motto. That's your thinking. That's your mindset. And then when intrusive thought shows up, you just go about your business, disregard them, because you recognize their intrusive thought, and that's the end of it. Now, when you're talking to a girl and intrusive thought shows up, you know what it is like? It's no different than if you actually are with your girlfriend and you happen to be walking in, I don't know, somewhere in the jungles, and it's beautiful, it's romantic, and you guys start getting involved, kissing and touching, and then you roll on the ground and, wanting to have sex. But suddenly you notice that, the floor that I'm on it's got so many stuff, garbage and debris, and I don't know, dog poo over there and this, but you're so excited, what you gonna do? You're just gonna say, the hell with it. You roll over whatever is there, and you just enjoy the sex you wanna have with your girlfriend. The environment wasn't so pristine, but you focused on what you wanted to do, and you rolled on all these debris and the garbage and the leaves and, I don't know, even the animal poo, whatever it was there, because you just were focused on what you wanted to focus. What are you going to do at that moment? That you're so excited and so amazingly into that, intimacy with your girlfriend. But the environment that you're just laying down on the forest floor is not that clean. What are you going to do? You're going to say, oh, it's not clean. You're going to have sex. Somehow you're going to deal with it, right? Roll this way, that way, maneuver here, or whatever. You just say the hell with it. You're going to do what it is that you're there to do. So when you're with your girlfriend talking or having intimacy or whatever, an intrusive thought shows up, it's just like that debris and the bullshit and the garbage and the dog poo, whatever the environment that you're trying to make love to your girlfriend. You still go through with it. Give priority to that sex. Not this stuff that is all around you guys on the floor of the forest, or not the intrusive thoughts that may show up no matter whenever it shows up. You focus on you. You only think about what you love to be and what you are, what you've always been, what you prefer to be. That's what you focus on. The rest of it, everybody suffers with intrusive thoughts. It's not just you, it's just yours just lingers because there's a malfunction, and you gotta, with your behavior, doing this, that not caring about it, you don't give opportunity for it to take hold or take roots, and eventually it learns that it's not welcomed here, it's not entertained here, it's just gonna die. And then your system refreshes, resets back, and starts focusing and functioning automatically again. The caudate nucleus comes alive again. So no worries about that. Push through. Who do you think is 100% in their mind focus on what they're doing, what they're talking with their girlfriends, or the girlfriend is talking to the boyfriend? Many women that when they're having sex, they're thinking about what? I got to take the children from school, I got to do the laundry, I got to do this, and they're having sex too. What do you think that is? These are all thoughts that are not, that they're showing up in the wrong time. But they push through. So nobody's 100% really. There could be all kind of intrusive thoughts about what my exam is, what tomorrow I got to do, I don't have much money. But when it comes to these kind of obscene thoughts, suddenly you think, oh, that should be a more intrusive than something else. Yeah, it's annoying and obscene to you, but it's the intrusive thought like anything else shows up in your mind when you're having sex. But you go through it and learn to go through this with this as well. And then eventually it disappears because you're not giving a shit about it. It says that it's not being paid attention to. So it can't distract you. That's how you deal with it. Luna says, Salam dear Mehran. Salam dear Luna says, glad to be tuning in tonight. Kayfak al-yum tamam. What's the... Shukran tamam. Yeah, shukran tamam. And Juanpa says, 25 male. Costa Rica says, pura vida. Yes, we did that. Pura vida. Aman, stop analyzing this whole shit. Just don't analyze it. It's no different than you have gas in your tummy and somehow you get rid of it, but you don't analyze it. Oh, I've got gas. So you're just doing your thing, you're doing your exam, you're doing your discussion, but you just deal with that too, right? Same thing. Don't make these things to become the central focal point of your functions or discussions or whatnot. These intrusive thoughts, these I don't know, uh, uh, um, bodily gas or whatever it is, they're all intrusive, biologically or mentally. You, they're in the background. Just keep them in the background. Do your thing. Keep your focus on what you need to focus, and they will show even less and less because they disappear and they become. It's like you put the light on something that you want to see. Naturally, the stuff that you don't want to see, they don't have light shining on them. They'll become less and less apparent, and eventually, there's zero light on them. They can't even get to a light. They don't get the chance, and they die forever. And if they ever show up, you know what they are, so you don't even care about them anymore. And we have, Veronica, okay. Lovely Lily says 29, female, Pakistan. It says hello dear Mehran, good to see you live here, good to see you as well. And so who do we have here again now? So we've done all these. Lovely Lily says, dear Mehran, how to overcome fears and anxiety bravely. It doesn't have to be bravely or unbravely. Just don't give a damn about them because they're just thoughts. They create fear in you, but they don't exist. It's like an illusion. It's like you're going through a ride in the fun fair amusement park, and you sit in one of these cars that it's on the rail and it's all dark. It's like a tunnel. Everybody sits, like 4 or 5 people or 3 or 2 people on these cars, and they all just like it, they start moving, and through the darkness suddenly something shows up, a fake plastic spider. But because you didn't expect it to be and there was nothing else showing and just popped up, surprise, it scares you, while you know that there is no such big spider this big, and it's not going to eat you, but you react to it as if it's real, because the brain doesn't understand between actuality and virtuality. It reacts in the same way. So if it thinks there is a danger, it reacts as if there actually is a danger. That's why when you're sleeping and you dream about something dangerous, you react the same. You get up, you're sweating, you're upset, you're fearful, but there is nothing there. There never was, but you react never the same. What is it? Anyhow, you react the same. Forgot the word. Nevertheless, you react the same. So, and the same thing when you're walking into a room and a friend just jumps out from a corner and scares you, nothing is gonna, but you react because the brain is not taking any chances. It's gonna react to save you, even if it's not real, but it is been presented as if it's real. So it's gonna take it seriously to protect you. So you have anxiety, and none of them are real, but the body is trying to create that certainty and safety, and has been believed through the intrusive thoughts or through some negative thoughts that there is a danger. And since it doesn't understand between virtuality and actuality, So it reacts to a virtual danger as if it's actual danger. So the anxiety and the fear is real, even though there is really nothing dangerous immediately awaiting you. But a thought showed up that created that concern in you, and the brain is going to act to protect you as if that concern, which is a thought, is actually real. You know, look, when you put these virtual reality goggles on, and there are games that you play, and some of these games could be you're about to fall somewhere. You're on the ground, you're in the living room of your own home, but you're affected, completely influenced by the virtual projections and the images that is being fed into your brain, and the brain and your field of vision has been limited by the goggle being on it, so you cannot have a reference with the outside world, and they have turned your world, as you could see outside, and the reality and actuality, your room and outside and everything else, they've limited that to the goggle, and what goggle is showing, the movie in the goggle, the game in the goggle, the parameters is limited to what is shown in that screen in the goggle, and you can't see anything from the corner of your eyes to the outside of the goggle. It's all enclosed. So your world has been turned into this is the reality of you, because you've been limited to what is being shown to you, what's been presented to you. So the brain believes that is. Then you function according to that belief. But as soon as you take this goggle off, suddenly you can see, holy macaron, this was all lie. But you reacted to all those fictitious images and dangers as if it was real danger. Oh, why? Even if you're playing ping pong, oh, it's gonna fall. You're gonna, but there is no ball, there is no ping pong, there is no table. It's all images. So you're reacting to images. If you can understand that these images are just fictitious, not real, and separate virtuality from actuality, you would be fine with intrusive thoughts. You can handle anything. And the key for that is to understand the separation between brain, thoughts, and you. Somehow you've been duped and conditioned through childhood that you're the brain. So whatever brain brings about, the images that it brings about, or thoughts that it suggests, you think that's the reality. Just like the virtual reality goggle put on your head. And you react to it. Intrusive thought shows up, has limited you into believing that what shows up in the brain is reality. You react to it, and you fall for believing it, and it annoys you, discomforts you, or threatens you, or frightens you, or whatever the topic of it is, whether it's a sexual thing, whether it's an HOCD, whether it's OCD, whatever it is. That's how it works, like the virtual. Just understand that this is a glitch. All you have to do is take the goggle off. So all you have to do is to disassociate yourself with the images and thoughts and suggestions that the brain is creating, because you understand that is virtual. There's no reality to it. It's a thought, it's an image, it's a suggestion, not you. And you always say, I only think of what I am, not what brain suggests, because that has no actuality. I have actuality. You stick with that, and that I have a choice. My choice is what gender I have been born and prefer to be, and I am, and I've been functioning as. Not what the intrusive thought suggests. That's virtual. I'm actual, and I have a choice. And my choice is the gender that I am, that I want to be. I love it, and I'm proud of it. I love women. Whatever your gender is, but that's what you say, whatever you are. You focus on that. Understanding the separation of brain, thought, and you is real, is in actuality. You are separated. And for that, you can watch my video, Regain your sanity in 39 minutes. That's 4 videos put together, but because there's a video number 1, 2, 3, 4, the 4th one is the last part of it, but I put them all together so you can watch them as 1 or as 4 parts. And in that, you can clearly see why you're totally different and separate from the brain and thoughts. You're not the brain. Brain is not you. You're not thoughts, and thought is not you. So why do you believe in what brain conjures up in the form of thought or images that it brings as intrusive thoughts to your mind? Why do you believe it? Because you have been duped to think that this brain is the limit of your existence, and what it conjures up, especially when it malfunctions, you think that it's like the virtual reality goggle, and you believe it, where all you have to do is just take the goggle off. That's it. Take the goggle off, meaning stop believing that what shows up in your brain has got any truth, any credibility, any actuality to it. It doesn't. And I have proved it to you all in all different videos that recently I have put up in the past few weeks. It's all there. You know? Understanding your brain deeper, and the roots of thoughts, and many other things. Just go to my playlist, Intrusive, OCD, HOCD short videos. You will see just a number of really good, interesting videos that introduces to you an angle, an understanding that I'm sure you have not come across so easily. And it's there. It's there for you to understand your relationship with the brain. What is brain? What is you? Where are you in this whole equation? And why are you so easily be fooled by the images, suggestions of the brain in the form of pop-up and intrusive thoughts, and you actually believe the garbage that this tool, this apparatus, this equipment called brain creates, and you think what this equipment that belongs to you, it's a machine, it's something that you need as part of your entity to use in order to accomplish what it is that you want to accomplish. Instead, you think this tool, this equipment, this machine, brain, is you. No different than thinking that your intestine is you, so what it creates is you. It creates poo. Is that what you are? It's an apparatus, it's a tool, it's an equipment to do something that it needs to be done so you can function. That you can use it to eat, turn it into energy, and get rid of the residues and the feces. Its production is poo, but you don't consider that you, but you own it. It's your intestine. How could something that you own, what it produces, is actually you? You own the whole thing, and you're saying what it produces is you? Brain is also part of the apparatus and tools and equipment that you own, like your kidney, your liver. Are you saying what liver produces is you? The bile is you? Are you saying the kidney, that what it does, it purifies your blood? The kidney is you? It's part of you. Own it. It does work for you. It has a function. Brain. Are you saying whose brain is it? You say my brain. My brain. I mean, you own the brain. So how could it be that what you own, what is produced by what you own, is you? How could that be? I own the brain. Brain is mine. But what it produces cannot be you. Why do you mess up? Why do you misunderstand? So you own the brain is part of the equipment you have hired, you have bought, you added to yourself to do a certain job, to enhance your abilities. But now you say what this brain produces is actually me. Really? But you were here before the brain was added to you, no? There is a you, and then there's a brain that you own. And what the brain conjures up is it's got a job to do, and that's what it does, but that's not you. So don't be confused. Separate yourself from the brain and thought, and you can see that you're the boss, you're the selector. You choose what is useful and what is not useful. Not that whatever shows up in your brain, oh, that's me. Oh, today it says your gender is changed. Oh, well, okay then. Oh, I'm confused because it is annoying, yes, but you have to understand this is a virtual reality goggle. That's all. It's limited your understanding of what you are because it's brought your focus to itself. You take that your focus from itself to you, who you are, and only think about what you are and what you prefer to be, and that's the end of that. Doesn't matter what shows up in your head, you stay on course as what you prefer, what you are, what you've always been. And that's how you live your life. In control of your preference. All right. Now, Lily says, for example, my breathing awareness makes me more anxious. Yeah, because when you are focusing on function of something, the what's the word? The inventive mind focuses on what if. Most people, I mean all people, not most, all people who have OCD are above average intelligence. And that's one thing. And secondly, they're very innovative, imaginative, creative. And that special ability that they have, creativity, strong imaginations, makes them to be able to invent products, create things that others can't, because it's so capable. But when you're focusing on a function of something, this creativity runs off with it and goes to what ifs. Because you're creative than most other people, in your mind, the word what if is got a lot more weight. And it finds what, because you're creative, you're inventive, you're a thinker, you are a capable person to bring solutions. So you find possibilities. And these possibilities, because the brain doesn't understand what your mandate is, these possibilities could go to any tangents, negative, all kinds of. It's not trying to be necessarily purposely disgusting. It just goes to whatever is possible to imagine, because its ability is imagination, is inventiveness. It can imagine anything that could be possible. That's why OCD people with intrusive thoughts, it's not that their brain is focused on creating all these obscene things to you. It's because its brain's understanding of its mandate is that I make thoughts. So anything that possibly could be thought of, I do. And among that, many of the stuff that it thoughts of, because it's possible to conjure up, it's obscene and disgusting to different people, different genders, different things. To understand that this is a capability of the brain, not something that is a deity or a message to you, it's just what it does. It has ability of the neural ensemble. It creates things that in reality, your reality or some other person's reality or in actuality at all for everyone, it's not possible. But it creates it. Why? Because it has a capability to create things, and it creates. And in OCD and people with OCD, this creativity is far stronger. Plus that they're above average intelligence, they're not stupid to be fooled by simply not caring about things. So two things is going against you. Both of them are positive, but it's turning into, if you don't understand it, you take it wrong and you entertain it in a negative way, that it becomes a hindrance, a bothersome. So because of these abilities, when you are focusing on your heartbeat or when you're focusing on your breathing, what goes through your mind? Inventiveness. What if it doesn't work? Because you want solution. And for finding solution, you got to come up with problems. And if the problems don't exist, but that's the nature of your brain, you create problems. So you're focusing on your breathing. In order to protect that breathing, instead of thinking that I don't need to protect it, this is something to do connected with the universe. I have nothing to do with it. It will continue forever until I die. I don't need to protect it. This is an automatic system. This is something that came on when I was just conceived, and heartbeat, the first thing that started, and it's not voluntarily, it's involuntarily. It just does its own thing. I don't need to protect it. But the brain doesn't know that. Brain thinks it got to protect everything. So it says, okay, breathing, okay, what are the possibilities? Okay, what are the negatives about it? What are the dangers I can create to alarm her so she can be aware of it? Oh, what if it doesn't breathe? And you're going to say, listen, you don't have to worry about that one. This is automatic. This is not in your control. This is not in my control. This is not the brain's job to make me breathe or not. It breathes automatically. It's independent. You are having nothing to do with the breathing mechanism, and you have nothing to do with stopping it. You got to make your brain understand that, or yourself to understand that. But because you're not focusing on these, the brain does its worrying for you, because its job is to protect you. And to protect you, you got to create problems. Because when it creates problems, it alarms you, and it thinks it's doing its job. Same thing with any other OCD. It's overactive in alarm system. HOCD, pedophile OCD, harm OCD, any kind of OCD, washing hand OCD, just creates problems. So to do his job right, so you can be protected to enjoy whatever it is that you are and you have always been. But it conjures up all these problems to make you to protect what you love even more. Unnecessary. I'm good. So when you focus on your breathing, that's when the mind says, oh, she's focusing on that. That means she wants me to come up with possibilities. So it's going to conjure up all kind of possibilities. What if you stop breathing? What if you choke right now? What if something goes through your lung? What if a bird comes and smashes into you? What if you just go into the doorknob? It's going to come up with all kind of shitty and stupid things. But you just asked it, not necessarily directly, but you just focus on something you don't need to focus. Anything you focus becomes hindrance. Listen, people who run 100 meter hurdle in Olympics and competitions, they don't think that there is an obstacle. I have to now take this foot down and push with the other one and jump this and bend this one and go over it. They don't think. If they do it, they start messing up because they're conscious about the procedures. They do it automatically in one shot. There are many things in the brain that it is proven by, I believe it was Dr. Grable, Jan Grable, that understood through her experiments that a bunch of small organized behavior in the brain is considered one function. For example, for someone who, it is actually explained in Dr. Schwartz's presentation in You're Not the Brain, that he was explaining that he smoked cigarette for 30 years. And he said, through Dr. Grable's research, they understood that many things in mind is clustered into one behavior, while that one behavior has many fragments of behavior that has components of behavior that has created that one behavior to be one, but it consists of many different pieces. But you think of it as one act. For example, he says when he was smoking cigarettes, the fact that he would take the cigarette package, take the cellophane wrap off of it, tear that big top part, open the whatever it is, take one cigarette out, put it on his lip, take a lighter, a fire, which is against your nature to be close to fire, but put it 2 inches, 3 inches away from your face and turn the fire on and then start puffing that in. All that was considered one action. But in fact, there were so many little actions involved that you are oblivious to it. You don't even think about it. And if somebody asks you that, were you, sir, aware that you had a fire just about 3 inches away from your face? Says no. Because they're not thinking about every single act that is involved to create that one act. That was an ensemble of bunch of acts. So, where was I going with this? So naturally, when you are focused on doing something, it involves lots of other things that you may not be even aware of it. So when you're focused on your breathing, it's, I don't know, I forgot what I want to say. What the hell was it I want to say? I sometimes explain too much. I forget what I wanted to say. Anyhow, if I came up to it, I see, because your brain has the capability of creating ensemble, like bunch of things put together, but you that is not even possible to be created, or it's not possible for you, but you can create it. And just because it's possible to be created, the brain creates it. And I think I explained in some other discussions that you can create things that don't even exist in nature, but your brain has the capability of creating it, and it's called neural ensemble. It's like imagining a duck's head on a lion's body, or a lion's head on an elephant. If you can imagine it right now, you can see you can do it, right? But in reality, it's an impossibility. And for this to take place, a bunch of neurons got to create exact images at the exact time, and being able to transfer these information through the tunnels of that the neurons are traveling to get that information to the other neurons, to create that connection and collection of neurons to create that image called neural ensemble. And that takes place because the brain is capable of creating things that don't even exist, but it's capable. So in your case of thinking your breathing is going to stop, it creates that thought because it can create it, because it can create neural ensemble stuff. Therefore, it can create that as well, which is not a possibility in a healthy person. There is no reason for it, and therefore you get bamboozled by it because you think because it thought of it, it can be possible. No, it thought of it because it can think of it, not that whatever it thinks is possible. You guys have to understand, intrusive thoughts, OCD thoughts, all kind of subsets of OCD thoughts, including HOCD thoughts, all these things, including your OCD about breathing stop and all that, these are not created because they are going to happen. They are created because brain can create all kinds of thoughts. And it does, because that has a capability of neural ensemble, capability of creating all kind of thoughts that could possibly be created. It's like drawing. You're a drawer, you're a painter, you draw pictures that is not even in reality, is there, out there, but you can create it. But because you drew it, it doesn't mean it's going to be actually really possible to be in existence. Just because you created a thought of HOCD or harm OCD or pedophile OCD, or you washing your hands OCD, if I don't, something bad happens to my mother or my father, or you breathing OCD, whatever, it doesn't mean that it's going to happen. It just means that the brain is a tool, an equipment that does this, tries to see what can I create, what is possible in this world to create in the form of thought and image. I do that. That's his job. But what it does, it's not meaning that it's true or it's going to happen. No, it's just trained to do that. That's all. It's a production facility. You're the judge of it to say, oh, this is garbage. I don't need that. I don't need that. All right. Anyhow. Oh, my goodness. Carpe Diem has, again, helped the channel with another $10 of super chat. And I guess he's the only one who's trying to pull the burden on his shoulder. He says, please support the channel. Then and says, thank you for your response, Mehran. Much appreciated. My pleasure. My pleasure. Anytime. You're so kind, so supportive, and I don't know what to say. You always do that, man. And that's very kind of you. I don't know what to say, honestly. So where do we have here? We have Elodie Kopol says, hey, Mehran from Paris. Oh, when I was in Paris, what was it? The year was, I don't know when it was. I think it was 1981 or it was, I think, 1981. I was in Paris and my father was there and I was in States, so I traveled to Paris and he was there for some business, and I said, oh, I got to see my dad because I don't know when I will see him again. So I went there, and one of the places that he took me was Coupole, a restaurant called Coupole. I think it was in Montparnasse. I believe, if I'm not, maybe I'm mistaken, maybe it wasn't in Montparnasse, but anyhow, the restaurant was Coupole. It was a big, huge space, and beautiful food, very delicious. So I think that's what I remember. Coupole. Am I right? Is that why you chose this name, or is it just has other meanings as well? And don't forget the protocol, guys. Age, gender, and where you're tuning in from. Now I know he's from Paris, but I don't know if I need the age and gender as well. Ali Ahunbar says, a question, Mehran. Can intrusive thoughts cause fear and anxiety that can cause fast orgasm when masturbation because of the brain is shocked? No, you're just there, and when you start, like, listen, when you masturbate, it's like locomotive started. When it gets to a certain speed, you can't stop it. Doesn't matter what thought comes to your mind, you just do what you do. You're just there. And the anxiety of it may have something to do with it because you want to finish it before it gets to some obscene thoughts, and you simply expedite that. That could be a connection there, because you feel, oh, I just want it to be the certain thought that I have, and therefore I quickly do it ahead of time, and the anxiety causes it to be, faster than usually, because you don't want the thought to suggest anything that you would not approve and be bothered by it. So that could expedite it in some ways. Um, and Gaurav says, the only issue is she still says she cares for me and I will always be her best friend. I blocked her from everywhere, but she still reaches out to me though through email. She still tried to get my attention. Gaurav says, thanks for your help, Mehran. I'm going through your videos and will read the book soon. Okay, now let me see. Where did I miss the first part of this question? Gaurav says, hello, Mehran. Male 28, Canada, Ottawa. Why do I still try to look for positive things in my ex, even after she broke up from me? Oh, I see. I think we discussed that. Yeah, if she broke up with you and she still reaches out, you did the right thing. Block her and say, listen, what do you do? What's this? You break up, then you reach out. Move on. Don says, yay, I caught you live. Hope you're well. My love, miss you. Hello, Don, darling, how have you been? Hope everything is well with you. And thank you for the love and the kind words. Roller Girl says, true. What is true? I am not sure, but okay, I take your word for it. Zedkill says, 27, male, Sweden. Says, Mehran, why do I sometimes obsess over things such as a song? Well, that's one way of looping, no different than any kind of an OCD looping thoughts that stays in the brain. It's constantly there. But when it comes to the sexual thoughts and OCD thoughts, you guys freak. But when it comes to a tune looping around your head, sometimes you have a tune that's constantly there for days. You're not wondering about that, like a tune, whatever it is, la 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 la, and it keeps doing there. And you don't know why. That's the same as malfunction of the signaling system. They're supposed to shut it down, but it doesn't. And when it comes to other things, suddenly you freak out. But this is the same as that. Only because the topic is changed doesn't make it dangerous or anything. It's still nonsense. It's still nothing, irrelevant. It's just a loop. It's a malfunction in the signaling system, regardless of the topic. But when you start interpreting topics, then you're not focused on the fact that it's a malfunction. You focus on the fact what it means. Is it going to change my gender? Am I no longer interested in women? What does that mean? Why did I get this growing response? All that we've discussed in the videos is all the human being responds to everything. You can respond to some shiny statue in the middle of the city of a naked man or woman. Doesn't matter to you, because the association of a naked body gives the association to word sex, and the word sex takes you to somewhere that sex is to you, women, and then you react, whether growing or here or there, whatever, it doesn't matter. But then you say, because the trigger was the naked body or the naked arm or muscle of this male or same gender, then suddenly that was a homosexual reaction. No, it's an association of words, because you see, you don't realize that we don't respond to things. Unfortunately, we respond. We don't process things, everything. We don't always process things. We just respond to conclusions. And conclusions come to a word. Like there is a label to whatever is happening. And if that label, let's say you're heterosexual, and a certain intrusive thought brings about the topic of homosexuality, or somehow you end up having that word, And that word is a conclusion to you. So no longer you're processing it. You've come to conclusion. And then you're dealing with the conclusion. Oh, I'm gay. Because the word or the association came to that word. And that word is a conclusion. So no longer you're focusing on, there was a malfunction in the signaling system. I shouldn't be focused on the conclusion or the word or the whatever label it has. I should just focus on the fact that this is a glitch. Like the song that was a glitch in my head. You need to understand that human psyche has to be focused on processing it properly rather than living on conclusions, which is represented by the meanings of the words. All right, let's don't get heavy on that. Let's move on to so Zkill says 27 Sweden. Why do I sometimes obsess over things such as a song? I can loop it and listen to it for a day, and then eventually it goes out of my system and becomes dull. Can this be explained? Yeah, I just explained. And Abdurrahman Abd or Aid is no longer here. Kahaba says, Mehran, I would like to thank you. I have a friend who was together with a Russian girl. 6 months they type only in internet, and she stopped reply. Now he's depressed. Can you say him some words? First of all, tell me age, gender, and where you're tuning in from. Where are you tuning in from? Kahaba? And I will get back to you for sure. Just give me a little info on yourselves. I want to know the age. It's very important to me to know what age you are, if you're legal age, if you can be here, if what language I should be responding to. I want to know your gender, so I would address you properly. And of course, which country you're tuning in gives me a little information about your whereabouts and maybe cultural background or something. These live streams don't give a chance to be really, connecting, so therefore at least I can get any little information I can. So pre-87 says, hi, how do you for that you look at my video on separation of brain and you, then you understand that when thoughts showing up, they're just a production. They're not you, and you're not responsible for intrusive thoughts. They just pop up, and they are just the production of an equipment that is part of you. And you have to understand that. For that, I've got lots of videos on intrusive OCD, HOCD short videos. On that playlist, you have all kinds of information about these analyzations and these discussions that may cause you pondering, and you will come to see what I mean. In one of my videos, I've explained that you can understand the awareness comes when there is a contradiction. And when awareness comes to something that you are uncomfortable with, that means there's been a contradiction. And that contradiction is been with who you are, have always been, your norm, your values, your principles, and some kind of an event or situation or thought. And for the reason of contradiction, there is an awareness. And that awareness is an evidence that what is causing the annoyance and contradiction whether it's situation or event or thought, is not you. Otherwise, why would you be uncomfortable? Why would there be an awareness? Why would there be a conflict or contradiction? If homeostasis is met, there would be no waves. But there is an awareness because there is a wave. You're sitting and looking at the ocean or the pond. It's calm, sunny, calm morning, and you're oblivious. You're just like in meditative state, and suddenly you see there's an awareness. You are no longer the why, because there's waves in the pond that wasn't there just a second ago. If there was no waves, you would not become aware that there is something different. And you became aware because there is something different. And something different means that's not what you've been functioning as or preferred as, or that's not your norm. It's outside your norm. So there is a contradiction, conflict, there is an awareness, and that by itself tells you there's something that is outside of you, is you're not interested, is contradictory to what your preferences are. This is the simplest way of explaining it, but we've got lots of videos on that topic that it goes deep into helping you understand the function of the psyche and the brain and the thoughts and you and so on and so forth. And Twiggy says, hello. Twiggy says, I love it when Mehran identifies BS as BS and shit and shit thoughts. Practical, straightforward, and cures the problem. Good. Delighted to hear that. Look, guys, if you watch the video that talks about regain your sanity in 39 minutes, it's in 4 parts, but that is the whole, all 4 parts together. You will see something very interesting that you might enjoy. So do watch it. It's about separation of brain, thoughts, and you. Yeah, Aman, just don't data hunt it. Don't worry about these things. Look, we are creatures that we can. You know, the funny thing is that men have a growing response to a tree. Like, yeah, you're walking by, suddenly your balls move. You have no interpretation for it. But when suddenly there is a man or same gender that out of anxiety that, oh, I'm not supposed to respond here, I gotta make sure I respond. This whole thought creates an anxiety that gives a certain kind of a reaction to your skin, to your balls, to your wherever, to your anus, to anything. But then you interpret it, oh, that was a homosexual reaction. No, it was the anxiety reaction to the fact that you didn't want to have a reaction, you focused on it, and you got a reaction of some kind. It's got nothing to do with what it was. It could have been just the hindquarter of a horse, or it could have been a tree, or I don't know, some kind of a statue or airplane, shiny. It could, a bird. It doesn't matter. A human being has all kinds of movements in their body. But the fact that you want to make sure that there would be no movement, so I can be sure that I am not this, I'm not that, that already heightens your anxiety level and fight and flight system, and then you have a reaction to something for somehow. Then you interpret that and you go on to all kinds of rabbit holes. You drive yourself nuts. No, we react. You could react to some concrete pavement, for heaven's sake, or hot weather, or whatever, or just, your nuts wanted to move. How many times have you noticed your nuts moved? Many times, and you didn't care about it. But now, because there has been some kind of intrusive thoughts, possibilities, and I noticed that, now this could have any reaction to that because there was a guy passing by. Oh, fuck off. Stop these bullshits. A million thoughts come to your mind. Your gender doesn't change. You keep thinking about it. You can turn yourself to go and hit your head to the wall, but doesn't mean that you actually want to. But you keep thinking about it. I want to hit my head to the wall. I want to hit my head to the wall. You condition yourself to go to hit yourself, but that's not your nature. So if you listen to the bullshit of the intrusive thoughts, you may end up doing something stupid because you believed your thought. But those thoughts have nothing to do with you. You're not thoughts, you're not the brain, but you believed that you're supposed to follow what the garbage, a tool, an apparatus, an equipment, brain has come up with. Oh, I gotta follow that. Why? What if the thought was, go eat that shit that you see on the corner of the street? That's against your nature, but if you don't listen to that, do you? Why? Then why is it that you listen to things that is against the natural inclination of your gender, and you think that has to be, maybe it has something to do in it? Whatever your gender is. I'm not talking about this gender or that gender. I'm talking about in generality of the role of the intrusive thoughts in somebody's life. Why do you guys give any point to brain? Brain is a tool. When it comes up with nonsense, garbage, what it is obnoxious to you, you treat it as that rather than, oh, it must mean something. Maybe I should cover it. Maybe it says, oh, kiss that guy. Maybe you like it. Maybe I should do it. Maybe it means something. No, it's an idiot. It's a brain. It's a thought. It's not you. It's against your nature. Simple. So if you constantly entertain something, you may go and do it, but that's still not you and not your nature. You did something because you're weak-minded, stupid, listen to some suggestion from a brain that itself is just a tool. It's like somebody out there. It's no different than other people. Your brain is no different than other people's opinion. They're out there, you can recognize they're not you. But this one is in your head, and you think because it's in your head, it's you. It's not. It's no different than being an outside opinion. If somebody out there says, hey, go throw yourself in front of that truck that is passing by 80 miles per hour, or jump over that cliff without a parachute. Go, John, you got to do it. You like it. Are you going to do it? No. But if a nonsense comes from your head and you keep listening, you may go and jump off the cliff. Because a brain is very powerful, can make you do shit. You're the one who's supposed to be the boss and not take shit from anything, anybody, including your own, and to be able to be the boss of selector and see what makes sense, what's relevant, what's not relevant. I don't care how many million times shows up. I'm not going to jump over the cliff or hit my head to the wall or do some sexual things that is not my nature just because it keeps popping up. That's the end of that. You have a choice. You're in control. You're the boss. Brain is an equipment, is a tool, is there to serve you, but you're the one who chooses what and when to use or choose and not use it. All right. Saeed says, hi, I'm Saeed from Iran. Hello, Saeed. Good to see you, dear. I mean, good to see your writing here. And Don says, happy birthday, Juanpa. And that's very nice. Come on, guys. Write something for Juanpa. Happy birthday, Juanpa. Why not? Remember when your birthday shows up. You would like to hear somebody's happy birthday. Thank you for that, Don. Lovely Lily says, thank you, dear Mehran, for your reply. Really appreciate it. My pleasure, dear. Oh, who's this idiot now? We got a troll. And his name is Adolf Hitler. Oh, well, obviously a crazy person. All right, let put him on the Um, use the time. I want everybody to read his bullshit, and then I give him a timeout. All right. I think poor thing has an issue. All right. Let me put this guy on break. And so we just all right. Let's put him on timeout. All right, you have Jeremy. Yeah, Jeremy, I already sent him out for timeout. Emmanuel says, hello, Mehran, male 28 Boston. Hello, Emmanuel. And SM says, hello, Mehran. Hello, SM. Hope all is well. And don't forget the protocol, guys. I don't remember all of you by protocol. Just remember that you've been here or not. So that would be nice. And Jess Magson says, hi, I've sent you a question before. I'm 19 from the UK. I've recently had to stop therapy because I don't have enough time to commit to it. Is there anything else you could recommend that I try? For what, Jess? What's the topic? And whatever therapy you're in, you should continue that, because that's the most important thing about your mental health, if that's about mental health. And that's the one that is most important. You know that I don't know what the topic is, so I can't tell you. Well, I do have a playlist in regards to intrusive, transient OCD, HOCD negative thoughts, or intrusive OCD, HOCD short videos, and I think they could be very helpful because they also have links of scientists and psychotherapists and psychologists, clinical psychologists, and brain scan therapists and brain scan scientists, and Dr. Schwartz, Dr. Philipson, Dr. Jan Weinert. These are all specialists in OCD and behavior of the brain. So all the links are in the description of my videos and those playlists, and you can watch their productions, and somehow, if you needed to, reach out their team and get expert therapies from them on Skype or so on, whatnot, and find out what their systems are. But their information and their presentations and their videos are very informative and helpful. plus the videos that I have created on different tangent, non-medical, medicinal or medical, but in same line of understanding the movement of the brain and the psyche. And so those resources are available to you on the channel, and you can get information as much as possibly you want it. But if you have a specialist, to continue your therapy if you know with them. Emmanuel says, what do you think of natural herbs that come in capsules? There are some that are good to help with confusing the mind. Do you recommend them? I don't know of them. I don't know what they are, so I can't recommend anything. Anyhow, I'm not a doctor. I can't recommend anything. I don't have that knowledge. And at the same time, there are certain general healthy supplements that you can take for okay, we are close to the port, so that's why the ships sometimes, when I don't know, they need to move something away from their pathway. We've got lots of big ships coming through here often. We don't hear the sound too much, but sometimes we do. So for general health, you always can go to your health food store and pick up the supplements that are really good. But mindful exercises, meditation increases the GABA neurotransmitter, which is involved in working against depression and anxiety, and it helps with the management of intrusive thoughts, GABA neurotransmitter. And it also, at the same time, these mindful exercises and meditation increases the serotonin, melatonin, and decreases the cortisol level, and increases the growth hormones. And natural behavior, natural exercise of that sort is very healthy by itself, plus the supplements that you can figure out, what you need during the day. Magnesium, all these other goodies, algae, alpha lipoic acid, grapeseed extract, and many other stuff. The vitamin B complexes and vitamin E's. There are lots of things. I think I take about 20 or 30 of them every day. There's D3, and there's astaxanthin, resveratrol. All these, I don't remember them all. I gotta look at them. So we have Leo the Lion says, Leo, male, 28, Seattle. This is Seattle, Washington. That's where I went to school. My first university was Seattle U for English. It was a good experience. It says, hello, Mehran. I have a problem when it comes to overthinking. I think the worst possible scenario. How can I overcome this? Well, first of all, you think the worst possible scenario because you actually entertain the thought or the beginning of it, stem of the thought. The best thing to do is to simply cut it from the stem. As soon as it shows up, recognize what it is and don't entertain it. That's the end of it. Yeah? Otherwise, when something is not real and you take it to a level of most negative extremes, and it still is not real, but the fact is, when it starts, it's not real, and then you take it to a different level, and then you start believing that it's real now. Why would you do that? It's like you're walking by and there's a little residue of dog poo shows up in front of you, and you imagine that, oh, it should be more, Why? If that little piece is bad, is not something that you would be interested in, or it's going to catch your shoes, or something that you want to avoid, why would you think that if you make more of it, it become easier to handle? Best thing is to maneuver away from it and say, oh, that was small and I could maneuver easily, and go away. Don't entertain it. Don't pay attention to it. What do you do when you're passing by and you see a small piece of dog poo and then there's a big pile of dog poo at the other corner? Which one do you gravitate towards? If you have to. The smaller one, right? So why is it that you actually allow a thought that to begin with is intrusive, is negative, to grow to bigger? What do you think you're going to accomplish? What you do there, what's happening there is that your brain is trying to protect you and brings about all kind of possibilities, so you'll be aware, so you'll protect yourself better. What you can tell your brain is, listen, I know this is bad shit, so I don't even want to deal with it, because I know it's just fictitious and I don't need to, because it doesn't exist. So why should I make something that doesn't exist bigger? What? To torture myself? You know why? You know, it's like if you have a needle, a little needle, accidentally it hits you here. You're not going to say, well, let me just shove the whole thing through. Now that this little thing has touched my cheek, let me just put the whole needle through my cheek. You wouldn't do that, would you? Why? Because you feel the pain physically and you know this is wrong, this is not healthy. But because there's no risk in imagining things in your mind, there's no physical pain, you mistreat yourself. You should treat it the same way. I simply want to take this accidental prick away from my face, not to shove it in. Same thing. If an intrusive thought shows up, say, oh, I just want to get away from it, so I don't treat it, don't give it attention, so it can't grow and I can go about focusing on other stuff. That's the way to handle it, I think. It's the fastest way to mention it. And it says, I think the worst possible scenarios, how can I overcome this, especially when it comes to relationships? Well, you know, I didn't read the last part of it. So in other words, you think about your girlfriend is sleeping with somebody else because your girlfriend said hello to some guy and then said, well, that's a natural protectiveness and the danger that we men feel when our girlfriend is saying hello to someone, because we know what that someone wants. Otherwise, he wouldn't be saying hello to her. Because he's also following his own natural, programming. You know, he's a heterosexual male, it's a female, so he's programmed to do the same approach that any other heterosexual male wants to have towards a possible proper candidate of opposite sex. So that this is what you think, but that doesn't mean what you think is true. You got to focus on the fact that what I'm thinking is not true. That's all. So I'm not going to pay attention to it, and I'm not going to imagine it any further. And so what? And if you want to get it over with, if it's your ex and that bothers you, just think whatever you want to think. And then say, okay, I thought it. So what? Is it true because I thought it? No, it's still not true. Would it still be not true if I didn't think of it? Yeah, it still would be not true. So what's the use then to think of it, to go extreme? And if it goes extreme and it's not your doing, then understand that this is just a malfunction and OCD and just intrusive thoughts, and just let go. Don't give a damn about it. And Alan Hodges says legal age and question mark. I don't understand. Alan Hodges says greetings. Okay, I don't get it. He says, Alan Hodges says greetings, Mayor 25, Scotland. I'm being trying to put my life together for the past 6 months since my ex left me, but with this, that big hinge on your head, Marin, have you. What? Hinge on your head, Marin, have you checked that big moly moly? Yeah, the moly moly. Yeah, I remember that movie. This red one, I don't know. It's been here for ever. So it's been here forever. I guess I let it be. Thanks for that. Yeah, well, so far so good. Alan. And Carpe Diem says, Meran, when will we have Zoom meetings for supporters? Yeah, I should do that. I should do that. Okay. Um, we don't have enough supporters. I don't know. I think we have two or three or four supporters. But I will figure out something. There will be probably a way to deal with it. I will set it up and then let everybody know. For sure, I will do something about it. Johnny B. Good says, "Oh my goodness, you haven't been here for a while, haven't you? Have you?" John 30, Male, USA, California says, "I have been struggling with intrusive thoughts that I cannot control. For example, I know someone that has something a bit weird about them that I don't care at all about, but when I am around them, I always have intrusive thoughts that pop up and say something negative about that person, and I hate that I'm thinking it, so I try to suppress it because I don't want to think it, but I can't. No, don't do that." Says, "But I can't stop it. When I try to control it, I feel so stuck and pent up like I'm holding in something, and if I relax, the thought pops up so much that the person can feel the negative energy and I feel so bad." Don't worry, that's normal. That's how it is. That's what intrusive is. Sometimes you're in front of someone standing and you think that, uh, I don't know, you imagine him in any way, shape, or form, all kind of weird things, or even you could think that, you're hitting them, attacking them, or I don't know, spitting on them, or breaking their head, or think of them that they're, I don't know, bent over and I don't know, doing whatever or whatever is being done to them. You could think of all these things, and instead of trying to stop it, just laugh at it, because it's not something that you would want it to be there. You would instigate it. You would welcome it. It's brain. It's independent system. It's doing its own shit. So just laugh at it, because you're not acting on it and you're not instigating it. You're not, you're just observing something that is coming to the screen of your head. It's like you're in a theater and you've gone in there for a certain movie, but before the movie, there are short movies of other movies that there are things that you would never choose to look at. But they're there. You're sitting there. It's not your choice. It's been tagged along what you came here to see, but there are other things that are being shown. So what do? You say, "Oh, okay." You laugh at it because it's not your intention. It's there. It pops up. Okay. Well, what does it mean? Nothing. Nothing. It's imaginative. It's intrusive. But you're such a creative brain, and that's what it happens with amazing abilities of the brain. Creates all kinds of things, and in some people is more of creativity and inventiveness, and that capability of neural ensemble takes place, and all kinds of weird things can be created because it can be. And you have this OCD that is an honest OCD. I have kind of coined it, a different HOCD than the known HOCD. So this honest OCD thinks, oh, because it's possible to be imagined, I have to imagine, because if I don't think of it, because if I don't imagine, that's dishonest. I have to create it now. No, you don't have to. And if it does create, so what? It doesn't mean they're responsible for it, or you wish for it, or you want it to happen to the person, or whatever it is. It's okay. It's okay. You can think whatever it comes to your mind. Observe it, let it go. Don't have to be worried about it. You're not responsible for it. Oh, let's see. Alan says, Meron, Meron, that was no boat, that was a nuclear missile alarm. Oh, I think Alan is a troll, isn't he? This is not a drill, whatever. Whoa, Meron, what's that foghorn just below your wig back? Below your wig back, man. Yeah, I think he's truly one of the best for this channel. And Meron, I love to seeing this channel grow. Alan, what's wrong with you? Are you on something or smoking something, or what are these comments? From one comment says, I truly want the best for this channel, and Meron, I love to see this channel grow. Then from other comments you say, whoa, Meron, that's foghorn just blew your wig back. Meron must have been from the what are you this is not a drill. Go. Okay, all right. Meron, I'm feeling the positivity tonight. I'm very excited about this. Okay, I'm not sure. Omar says, oh, you think would pass along after a few months, years? I don't get it. Omar says, hey. Omar says, you think HOCD pass alone after a few months, years? Yeah, it could pass quickly. It could pass months later or few years. But if you keep not dealing with it, not understanding how it's supposed to be dealt with, then it can linger, then becomes part of your habit. And that's why I'm really adamant to make sure that you guys understand it, so through knowledge you be able to deal with it, so it won't turn into a habit. When it becomes an HOCD, when OCD, any kind of subset of OCD it starts, there's an obsession and then there's a compulsion. And every time you do the compulsion, you feel good, and because of that feeling good and satisfaction that you remedied the obsession, there is dopamine created that makes you feel good. And having done this so many times, then after a while, you're not doing the compulsion because of the obsession. You're doing the compulsion to get the dopamine. And then after a while, you're addicted on the dopamine. And then once you do it long time, then no longer you're doing it to get the dopamine to feel good, secretion from your brain. You're doing it because it became a habit. And once it becomes a habit, it becomes more difficult to get rid of. It's a different process then. because the goal finding center and reward center and habit center, they're all on the same circle, the striatum, and they're all working together. That's why OCD, compulsion, and then you get the dopamine and you feel good, and then after a while you do the compulsion for dopamine, and then after a while you do the compulsion because it's your habit, not because of dopamine or obsession pretty much anymore. So this is what you need to focus on. Win Love or Wine Love says you missed my question. Okay, where is your question? I'm sorry, I go back to it. Oh, because I didn't see it. Sorry. It says, Win Love says, also, okay, before the also, I guess there's another one. So let's find that. Aha. All right. Win Love says 33 female Boston. So I used to hang out with my ex and his close friends. I see him now with a new girlfriend, hanging out with the same friends more than we did. When I see their fun group picture, I feel replaced. Help. Yeah. Why do you feel replaced? Why do you label it? Why not that your ex is with some other girl now? Why does it have to be personal to you? Look, whatever you call it replaced or whatever, but why would you call that replaced? Because when you call it replaced, it becomes personal, as if it was, if you're trying to say that something better was chosen. The fact is that the relationship didn't work out, so you each go your merry ways and you find another boyfriend and he finds another girlfriend. Why do you have to label it that you've been replaced? Why should it be referred to as such? That's a problem, because once you call it that, then again your brain is dealing with conclusion. You create a conclusion rather than, look, we weren't compatible or something happened, we no longer together, that's it. But you create a label, and that label involves a word, and that word has a meaning, and that meaning is a conclusion. And the conclusion here is you want to say that you're replaced, meaning you weren't good enough. That is what you're dealing with, not the fact that you're broken up. However it happened, the breakup, I'm not aware of it, but it has. So instead of focusing on what he's doing, hanging out with girlfriend or the friends and all that, so what do you want him to do? It's like he's saying that, oh, you're going out with another guy. Well, what does he think that he wants you to do? You guys are broke up. You're a girl, you want a boyfriend. He's a guy, he wants a girlfriend. He's got one, and you got to get one too, instead of focusing on what he's doing. Okay, yeah, you were part of their group, their friend, and all that, so big deal. Now she's part of that group because they're connected to him. And you will have your group, or whoever you bring to your life will be part of your group, or you'll be part of his group. Big deal. What's the significant here? Because you have summed up life into this one relationship and this one group, and you're finding your identity and your validity through the affirmation and opinion of this group about you. It's nonsense. You're limiting yourself, your flying ability, to the tether that you have connected to this group. They won't let you fly. Cut that tether and just fly off and go and find amazing opportunities out there and other things that would work much better for you instead of being wrapped up in what they're doing. So who cares? So what is it? Like, what are they doing? What difference are they making to the world? Like, it's so amazing that you want to be part of it. And if it was that good, then what happened that you guys broke up? And I don't know who broke up with who, but whatever it is, whoever did break up with whomever, you're supposed to go about your merry way and don't give a damn about what they're doing. That's not your life. And Wine Love says, also, Maran, I have intrusive thoughts about my toxic ex having awesome sex with this new girlfriend. Him and I didn't have a great sex, so I feel like I failed to please him. And now I feel like he does. So big fucking deal. Who is he that you're supposed to be worried about if you pleased him or not? You're no longer together. So who gives a shit? You shouldn't, at least. Why are you thinking about that your whole life is summed up in pleasing some idiot that is no longer your boyfriend? If he was any good, you guys would be together. If sex was not good, so it was not good. If it was not good for you, it was not good for him. If it wasn't good for him, it wasn't good for you either. It's not like you're responsible for the sex not being good. Takes two to tango. If you think you were responsible, well, then make changes for the next guy, that you will be the way you want to be. But you shouldn't feel guilty for anything. Look, if there is real bonding and connection and care involved, whether one time sex is good or 10 times sex is bad, it's not going to change the relationship. Because once two people really bond, they're not bonding on physical level. That's at the beginning. The real bond is on the consciousness level. And if you guys haven't bonded on conscious level, that's why the breakup takes place. Breakup usually doesn't take place because, oh, it's not the great sex. Who's having great sex every time? Yeah. So stop looking at it one-dimensionally. Okay, let's see what else do we have in there. All right. Oh, I hope I answered that question. So let's see, where are we now? And Alan says, Maran, I love what you're doing here. This channel is growing. Where did you get your hairline done? Did you go to the same boy as Aussie in Turkey looking like? I really don't follow what you do. Alan, what's wrong with you today? I mean, look, I'm trying to be flexible and, let you have your fun, but it's kind of weird. You say half a sentence is good. I love what you're doing in this channel. I hope it grows. Where'd you get your hairline? Did you get it? What's wrong with you? What you're smoking? Okay. Just get your act together. As you don't become annoying. What the hell? And Nick is here. Nick Garonoa. I got the problem with. It says Kia ora matua. Kia ora Nick. This is Meran. Kia ora matura Meran. Male 43 New Zealand. Says hi everyone. Great to be here. Great of you to join us. Delighted to see you here. And we go to Alan, do you see what's happening here? You're kind of being I don't know. I can't figure it out. I don't know what you're trying to do. I mean, you want us to change our mind about you? You say, Omar, Omar, welcome to the channel. Then you say, Omar, Omar, fuck off. I don't understand what's your intention. What's going on with you? All right. And now you say, also carpe diem, I will cave your fucking head in. So you can see you're being a troll. So I'm going to report you, Alan, and you can just get lost. Because that kind of a language with our people here is not going to wash, and you're banned. And if I hear you threatening anyone here, jokingly or unjokingly, I will not just report you, I will call the police. Because there is a function here, if you didn't know, that comes right here when we choose to report you, it also connects to the police. So be careful about your behavior. It is not going to go unnoticed. And that's the end of that. All right. So we had two trolls today, and they think they can hide. I knew that this Alan guy is also a troll, but I kind of thought maybe we'll just give him the benefit of the doubt, but we can see. All right. Wine Love says, thanks for answering my question. You're so amazing. Wine Love, heart, heart, heart. And thank you for the heart. I'll take him. And you're quite welcome. And Aman says, you told once that there is a video which about mind power and defying physics law, video number 7. But I forgot which one is it. Can you give a direct link? Yeah, if you go to playlist, intrusive, transient, OCD, HOCD, negative thoughts. There are two playlists. One is intrusive, transient, OCD, HOCD, negative thoughts. Not the one that says short videos. And there are 23 or 24 of them numbered in that playlist. Number 7 is the one I'm talking about. And of course, you can see the whole discussion about the end of fear, which that demonstration is also in it. It was done in a seminar done here at the local university, and it's called The End of Fear, so, or Mind Power. You can click on the search engine of my channel, Mind Power, or Power of Mind. There are 1-minute version, there's 5-minute version, 12-minute version, and the whole 1-hour version of the seminar for that day on that event in that university. All right. And everyone says, why do I always fall for a girl so quickly? Like within knowing, then a few days, is it because I feel like I can't have love? No, because you're a guy, you like girls. Well, you know, you're supposed to fall for girls. Why are you guys questioning these sexuality things so much? Make it all very easy and simple. You're a guy, there's a girl, you like a girl, you're heterosexual, and you fall for her. That's it. It's lust. You're programmed for that. Now, choosing and using that opportunity to get to know each other's consciousness is the art. Then you will see if you guys are compatible to make some real relationship out of it or not. But you like girls, you're going to fall for them because they're beautiful, they're amazing, and you feel you want to protect them, you want to, get to know them, you want to hold their hands. It's just the way you're programmed. So you fall for them. You're supposed to fall for them. That's the power they have. It's in your genes. It's your program. It's your sexual interest. And Aman says, okay, you did that. Aaron says, in such, is it just because I'm lonely? No, but it does have something to do with if you're not in contact with a number of girls, then the first girl that you see, you're going to fall in love with her just because you're programmed to love girls and you haven't been around girls so much or haven't been many friends around you, and then suddenly you see this girl that pays attention to you or smiles. You can fall for a girl by a smile because you're programmed to have that kind of emotion toward the woman who looks at you or smiles at you. That's something that is in your genes. You're programmed for it and you're responding to it. But then you got to be smart to go one step further to see now if this interest that is now created, can it be backed up with any kind of a bonding on consciousness level, compatibility, mentally, things that you're interested, so on and so forth, so you can make a relationship out of it. Otherwise, in human species, you're programmed for procreation to like a girl, be attracted to a girl. If you're a heterosexual male, you'll be attracted to women. And so that's the whole idea. In the old times when we were not able to think or speak, for the survival of the species, this program of procreation was already programmed in our genes. So there was no question of compatibility or bonding or consciousness. There was no, you just be attracted to the woman and then have sex and have children, and then Earth kind of, got populated. That was the prime directive. And that still exists, but now because there's so many other troubles created by mentalities and different compatibilities and consciousnesses, what's in there, what's not in there, and all that, because we were blessed with ability of thinking and speaking from 40,000 years ago. And so therefore we have now expectations of compatibility. We have the expectation of, do we bond on consciousness? Do we like the same things? There was no such thing. You were like animals, see a girl, like a girl, girls see a guy, like the guy, and then they were making children. That's how it was. Now you question it. Because yes, if you haven't seen, if you've been hungry for a while and you just come into town out of the desert or somewhere, a long travel without food, the first food you see, you're going to fall in, is the most delicious food I've ever had, you say. Well, because you haven't had food for 3 days. It could be just something very simple. But if you've been having different kind of food or have been around different smorgasbord or opportunity of restaurants and, ingredients to buy and cook and all that, then you wouldn't be so taken with the first nice meal you see. Same thing. If you've been around girls and associating with and having friends and so on, then you wouldn't be falling in love so quickly with the first girl you see. But if you haven't been around, it's like you've been, craving for that. You see the first girl, she smiles to you, oh, she's the right one. Because there's no other chance for you to focus on bonding on conscious level. You see, I just want to bond on physical level. That's what would be foremost in your mind right then. And Wine Love says, yeah, I don't know why, but I keep playing the victim. He was toxic, so I left him, but seeing him happy so fast, because you are not sure of yourself, unfortunately, and you should be. You had the reason, you made the decision, you somehow, both of you made decision, one of you made decision, you broke up, and that you had a reason for it. That reason still exists. But because you don't have enough confidence about your decision makings or your, yourself in general, now you see the same shit that you threw out, somebody else has picked it up, and you think that somebody else it makes a better decision than you do just because somebody else wants this shit. Therefore, this might not be a shit, and you shouldn't have thrown it out. You should maybe think it through and go and try to get. You suddenly become interested in something that you were not interested because somebody else is now playing with it. It's no different than a child when he or she plays with the a beach ball and then doesn't like it, gets tired of it, and throws it out there and plays with making sandcastles or whatever else is doing, and doesn't want that ball. For a couple of days it's there, doesn't even pay attention to it. But suddenly some kid is going to play with that ball, and suddenly you get up and say, I want this. I want the ball. Why? You didn't want it. It's old, you said. It's not good. It doesn't have enough air in it. It's not, it's just no good. You don't like it. You don't play with it. You haven't played for God knows how long. And suddenly, I don't know, if let's say you're at your home and a guest's kid come in, and the kid is your age and starts playing with that ball, and now you want to take that ball away. You want it. Why? Because that kid showed interest in that. There's a value in the interest of that kid toward that ball. And that value resonates to you that ball is valuable. No, that's valuable to that kid who never had that ball, which you actually had it and tried it, played with it, and you find it shitty ball. So you don't have enough confidence in your own decision, but when that kid finds that stupid ball, broken ball, interesting, because that kid says, it's good to play. I don't mind it. I haven't had balls for a while. And so, starts playing with it. And suddenly you say, oh, because that kid likes it, it must be a good ball. So I want it now. And lo and behold, if that kid that ball is taken away from that kid and you play with it, you're going to throw the ball away again. Because now there's no initiation of convincing you that's a worthy ball to play with because somebody else wants it. It's just supply and demand. You go to a store, there is one apple. Yeah, you want it because there's no more apple around. But then there's 10 apples of 20 apples in the box next day. You're not that hot about it. Or there's one apple on the shelves and you're thinking, should I have it? Should I not have it? I don't feel like apple. Who wants apple? I've been having apple every day. But then somebody just comes along and just about to pick up that, says, I should have it. And you go for it. You didn't even want it. Because you don't have enough confidence in your own decision making that when somebody else pays some attention to something that you actually already didn't want it, you think that someone else's idea and opinion is more valuable than yours. It's no different than intrusive thought. It shows up, you value the brain suggestion more than your own choices. That's what you got to change. You come first. Your decision is the one that you should focus on, not the intrusive thought that is coming from brain, which is not you. It's got nothing to do with you. It's some equipment that makes thoughts. You value that, not your own choices and your own preferences and what you've always preferred. That's where the problem is. And Wine Love says, and he gaslighted me so much, so I kept blaming myself for believing his lies and keep ruminating and crying, especially about the X part I was telling you. I feel not sexy enough and unwanted. Listen, you don't feel sexy enough? Go get sexy. Go to the gym. For heaven's sakes, today they do all kinds of things. I mean, you girls can turn yourself into a gorgeous thing within 6 months. So get off your ass and have a mandate, have a plan, value your opinion and your goal, and go turn yourself into some hot babe that you will have that power that you're seeking. But you can't be sitting on your ass and just keep having chips or whatever it is and say, oh, I'm not fit. Well, yeah. You can do it. You can do anything you put your mind to it. You want to be more fit, more beautiful? Well, go to the gym, work hard every day. And don't think about how much is left. Just keep going every day. If it's not every day, 3 times a week, 4 times a week. And regulate your intake of calories and regulate your calories that you spend. And healthy eating and create that rhythm. And that rhythm resonates with the nature. And then before you know it, the fat's gone, fitness is there, you look awesome, you look hot, you can wear different dresses and the whole presentation changes. You feel good about yourself. That feeling good about yourself brings confidence, and that confidence exudes outwardly, and that energy lures the candidates, and you will choose from the position of power. That's what you do. But you hang around waiting for a handout that some nice guy will show up and remains nice even though you don't care about yourself or you think this way about yourself. Change your thoughts. Change your feelings. So your thought right now is that you're not sexy. Well, say, okay, I'm going to have a plan to make myself sexy. And then your thoughts about you will change. 6 months later, say, hey, I look good. Then your thought changes, your emotions changes, your outlook changes, your energy changes, and then you attract different caliber of candidates. And she says, please help me, Mehran. One thought is, I'm glad he is the new girlfriend's problem now, but one thought is, how did his love change? Did he love me? Who cares if he loved you or not? The fact is, he's not with you, you're not with him. Past is gone, doesn't matter, it's nonsense. There was a problem, you got rid of him. There was a problem that wasn't working, you ended it, or it was ended somehow. Now you focus on rebuilding. To begin with, you rebuild yourself. You make yourself be happy about you. How? I don't know, nutrition, gym, exercise, the things you like to do, bring that happiness in you. I've got many videos on happiness and just uploaded a couple yesterday and day before yesterday and one tonight, or tomorrow morning. So there are enough hints there for you to do what you want to accomplish and accomplish. And he says, was our relationship all a lie? Who cares if it was or not? There is no relationship right now. So why do you care what it was? Focus on what it can be in the future with somebody that you would be more wise and alerted to choose it and create it in a different quality. That's what you should be focusing on. All right. You can't stop crying. Well, then listen, if you don't, then the ugly stick will come and start making you what crying is, and then you will say, oh, I shouldn't be crying because ugly stick is watching. So why are you crying? For what? Yeah? If you keep doing this and treating yourself that way, then the ugly stick is going to really make you cry by having you wear your motorcycle helmet, and it's going to crash that on your head because you're not treating yourself well. Treat yourself with love and respect and create the situation that you will feel happy in it by your own design. Go ahead. Do it. I don't care how long it takes. You can do it. Aman says, I feel as a victim and my talking with my friends and family changed with them and they think that something is wrong with me. I feel as caged cause I stopped dealing with them face to face. Okay. All right. Chinmay says, Mehran sir, seeing you in this suit after a long time, so handsome. Oh, thank you very much. Appreciate that. And level 1 says, male 19, Arizona. Hello there. Aaron says, I understand. Thank you. I will try to develop more friendship with girls. I have a lot of anxieties towards that, but I will continue to practice developing friendship with them. Look, my suggestion to you is if you want to develop friendship with the girls, go in with the idea of that you want nothing from them. If you go in there with the idea that I want to take this friendship to somewhere that I can have some intimacy and some relationship and all that, that's going to ruin it. That's not what I'm talking about. You got to make this ability to communicate and be pleasant with friends who are girls a natural thing. And when it's natural, you feel comfortable and you would not have anxiety. They will not have anxiety. You will be comfortable. Then you can take that friendship, possibly, if it was naturally called for, into a different level. Not that from the beginning you see a girl say, oh, I got to get to know her. Maybe I will get to, have a relationship with her, or maybe some interest. All of that ruins the whole interaction. It becomes motivated by something other than friendship. I know regardless of what you think, there's going to be some elements of sexuality and intimacy, interest, just because you're a guy and that's a girl. So that's going to be there. But don't have a design that you want to take that into anything specific from the beginning. That's going to interfere with your interaction and that friendship that you're hoping to create, which is supposed to be a little bit towards a platonic type of relationship than the one that you would count on to becoming anything more. Wolf Beats says, hello, male 34 from Spain. Hello there. And it says, how can I deal with my jealous partner? Very jealous, imagining shit happening in her imagination. What ruins daily life? 15 years relationship. Ooh, 15 years. Maybe she should be talking to me. So, because she should want to have some kind of understanding of the relationship between her brain and thoughts and herself, and what is intrusive thoughts, what are negative thoughts, and all that. Perhaps that would be something that you might want to suggest for her, to make an appointment on my site, mindthatseekstruth.com, mindthatseekstruth.com, and make an appointment on Skype to discuss such topics or other issues that you guys might feel needs discussion in your relationship. But in the meantime, you can talk to her, say, listen, all you're thinking, it just creates trouble between us because it's accusing me of things that is not there. So it creates a different energy between us. And that would become the basis for divisions and conflicts. And we get tired of this energy between us, and it exhausts us, and eventually we will gravitate toward different directions, and we end our relationship after 15 years. And unless we really talk about it and figure out your hesitance on trust and your reaction towards your intrusive thoughts, we won't be able to make anything better out of this. And Wolf says she doesn't understand English, so I'm lost. 15 years? Oh, you speak Spanish with her because you're Spaniards. Okay, I understand. Well, maybe you can translate for her if you have a discussion on Skype. That would be, maybe the three of us can be on Skype, and we can discuss it then. My pleasure, Wolf. I appreciate your joining us here. Guys, we've answered all the questions. It looks like we don't have any more question here, and it's been 2 hours and 46 minutes and a few seconds. And so it's time for me to say, I love you all. Thank you very much for being here, giving me the opportunity to share a thing or two with you. I look forward to talk to you again. Tonight at 9 or 9:30, I will have another live talk, hopefully, for Asia, Australia, and that neck of the wood. And but next week again, Saturdays, usually every Saturday, 1 p.m. Vancouver time and 9 p.m. Vancouver time. We will have live talks for different zones around the world. 1 o'clock would be for North America and Europe, and the 9 or 9:30 Vancouver time on Saturday nights would be for Australia, Singapore, Pakistan, India, Hong Kong, New Zealand, and all the other Asian countries such as Iran and UAEs and all that so forth. Oh, we got a bunch of other questions just coming up. Let's see. And for Abhishek, you can check my playlist on the channel, Intrusive, Transient, OCD, HOCD, Negative Thoughts, and the playlist, Intrusive, OCD, HOCD, short videos. These are very important videos on this particular channel, helping you to understand OCD and HOCD and all this. And also there are links for the psychologists and psychotherapists and specialists and scientists that I've put in the description of those videos, and you can use and educate yourself and how to deal with it. All right, so I guess, and Luna says, always a pleasure to see you. Keep well, dear Meran. Thank you. You're quite welcome. So again, I look forward to talk to you again next week, Saturday, if not tonight. In the meantime, be good to yourself, to the others, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.